all that to say, I couldn't be more honored to be here today introducing the next President of the United States. And I couldn't be more thrilled he's decided to end his campaign here, where it began, right here in Western Pennsylvania. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Joe Biden.
We the people, hey now, got to make the world go round, got to make the world now. We the people, yeah, got to make the world go round, got to make the world now. You may have the black blood.
You all must be praising. As my mother in Scranton would say, God love you. Thanks for being here. You know, the one thing I've always been able to count on my whole career, unions. I know how to say union. I work in folks' unions. Hey, folks, it's good to be back in Beaver County. The fact is that we've been in a situation for a while here that, and Greg, thank you for the introduction. I do appreciate it. You know, one of the things about the ironworkers is that I think you're all crazy. You know what I mean? I remember ironworkers endorsed me early on when I first ran for the Senate as a kid. A guy named Tommy Schrank. And I used to walk in Union Hall all the time and say, anybody who is crazy enough to walk up 16 stories on a beam and shoot a rivet has to be nuts. But thank God you are. You're like, where I grew up, you joined a trade, you became a cop, became a firefighter, or a priest. I wasn't confident being any one of them, so look what happened to me. Folks, look, Connor, thank you for being here, and thank you for all you've done. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, this is about more than just an election this time out. There's an awful lot at stake. And of course, you're going to send Connor back. That's all right. I'm used to babies. Babies are allowed to cry, and anybody's allowed to cry if they want. Anybody's allowed to make noise too. And so, but look, I wanted to come by and just say thank you personally. Thank you very, very much for what you've done. As that old, the mayor's here, they tell me. I don't know where the mayor is. Where's the mayor? Hey, you all right, Mr. Mayor? Thank you, pal. Being mayor is a real job. They know where you live. And Terry and Rob, I want to thank you and everybody all across Beaver County. Folks, look, the fact is that from the very beginning of my career, I found myself in a situation where I've relied on labor. And I hope I've demonstrated that labor can rely on me. You know, we're in a home stretch now. We're in a home stretch. And as my coach used to say in high school and college, it's go time. It's go time. Tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow we're going to send Connor back to Congress. We're going to hear what labor has to say. We're going to win Pennsylvania. And we're going to show the world what America stands for. Folks, as I said, I wanted to come by and thank you personally for canvassing and thank the mayor and everyone else that I've just mentioned here. The fact is that there's a lot at stake in this election. We are really at one of those inflection points. This is going to be more than just who governs the next 4 years. What happens now, what happens tomorrow, is going to determine what this country looks like for a couple generations. And that's not a joke. I really genuinely believe that. There's so damn much at stake. And you know, as we get this home stretch, you find yourself going home. At least I find myself going home. This is like home. I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I grew up in Claymont, Delaware. And it used to be a steel town that had steel workers. Used to have 5,800 steel workers in the town. All gone now. We got to get it back. We're not going to get it back in Claymont, but we can get it back here in the United States. And folks, the fact is that, as I said, we're heading to a home stretch. We know the stakes have never been higher. We know they've never been higher. My dad used to have an expression. He'd say, Joey, when he lost a job in Scranton when Cole died when I was a kid, and we moved down to Claymont, Delaware. He took us home to my grandpop's house. And he made what I call the longest walk a mom or dad has to make. Up a short flight of stairs to the kid's bedroom and say, honey, I'm sorry. You can't go back to that school. You can't play in that Little League club anymore. Dad lost his job. We're going to have to move. We can't stay where we are. And he made that walk, took us home to my grandpa's house in Scranton. And what happened was he said, I'm going down to Delaware. There's jobs down there. I'll come home every weekend. Probably take me a year to get one. I can bring everybody down. And so that's exactly what happened. From that point on, when my dad would talk about a job, he'd say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in the community. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. Not many people are saying that these days. Too many people are worried. I've never forgotten growing up in a hard-working family in Scranton. The lesson that Donald Trump has never learned, because he can only see the world from Park Avenue. He can't see what family like yours and mine have gone through. So he refuses to do the work to get this virus under control. He refused to do the work to get our schools and our small businesses the resources they needed to stay open. Firefighters, teachers, cops, a whole lot of hard-working folks. He refused to bring Congress together. They passed the money, but he refused to bring them together to provide for their families, their working families, because he thinks Wall Street built this country. Well, I got news for him. You already know it. Wall Street didn't build America. The middle class did, and unions built the middle class. Unions built the middle class. That's a fact. That is a natural fact. Look, I see the world from Scranton. I see the world from working class towns all around this state. That's why Build Back Better plan that I'm going to do is we're going to, for the first time in a long time, we're going to start rewarding work, not wealth. We're not going to raise taxes on anybody making less than $400,000 a year. But if you make more than that, guess what? You're going to start paying your fair share. You're going to start stepping up. I'm going to ask the big corporations, the wealthy, to step up. You know, 90 of the Fortune 500 companies trying to railroad you guys, 90 of them, didn't pay a penny in taxes. We're going to invest the money that we collect in working people, creating millions of good-paying union jobs. $2 trillion to build a more resilient infrastructure, roads, bridges, water systems, a whole lot more, done by certified labor. And by the way, no matter how many times Trump tries to lie about it, I will not ban fracking, never said I would. But I'm going to end Trump's incentives to send jobs overseas. We have a trade strategy right now where you get 10% cut in your tax if you send a job overseas. We're going to reverse it. You bring a job home, you get 10%. And I want to promise you one thing. You know, the president has control of $600 billion, handing out contracts for construction, for everything from building aircraft carriers to public housing. Well, here's the promise I make to you. Not one single contract will be let to a contractor who doesn't have products that are all made in America. That's a guarantee. Every one. We're allowed to do that now, but we've never done it. It's about time we stepped up and made sure people are. By the way, one other thing I want to mention here. Donald Trump talks about himself as a tough guy. I grew up with guys like him in Scranton, around in Scranton. They thought because they had more money than us, they could look down their nose at us. They thought that because they came from well-known families, they somehow were better. But let me tell you something. He talks about how tough he is, how hard-working he is, how he's done so much. Well, let me tell you things that bothered me most in this campaign, and I have to tell you. The way he talked about our veterans as being losers. What's this guy all about? Who is he? He doesn't understand what's going on. Folks, my son was the Attorney General of Delaware. He gave up the seat to go fight in Iraq for a year. He won the Bronze Star, the Conspicuous Service Medal. He came home and he died of cancer, but he came home and guess what? He was no loser. Trump's a loser. And all of you have served. All of you have served. I really mean it. Think about it. Think about it. Is it any wonder why? This is the first president I'm aware of. The 6 top generals that worked for him, 6 4-star admirals and generals, they all left saying he wasn't worthy of being commander-in-chief. They quit. McCraven, McChrystal, Special Forces. These are the guys who did a lot commanding. They both endorsed me. And then came along 22 4-stars stepped up and endorsed me. Saying because they knew I'd have their back as commander-in-chief. This guy doesn't get it. I really mean it. Many of you served. Took physical courage to do it. He doesn't get it. Folks, we owe the military. 1% of the Americans are protecting the other 99% of us. We owe them big. Look, we can only get this done, though. We can only get this done in Pennsylvania, if Pennsylvanians vote. We got to make sure everyone returns their ballot or vote tomorrow. Make sure everyone you know does the same. It's time to rebuild the backbone of this country, the middle class, and this time bring everybody along, everybody. It's time to unite this country. There's an amazing thing about this moment in our history. On the one hand, we're facing the biggest threats to who we are, what we believe in our lifetimes. But on the other hand, our future has never been more promising. I've said it many times. I'm more optimistic about America's future today than when I got elected as a 29-year-old kid to the Senate. Here's why. We're better positioned than any nation in the world to lead the 21st century. Our workers are 3 times productive as workers around the world. We have the biggest economy in the world, the strongest military in the history of the world. We have the most innovative entrepreneurs. We're virtually energy independent. And we have more great research universities than the rest of the world combined. No other nation can touch us. No other nation can lead us. We can lead by the power of our example, not just the example of our power. The only thing that can tear America apart is America itself. And that's exactly what Donald Trump's been trying to do from the very beginning. Divide America, pitting Americans against one another, rural versus urban, based on race, gender, ethnicity, national origin, or religion. That's wrong. That's not who we are. Everybody knows who Donald Trump is. But we're about honor, integrity, dignity. This is the United States of America. We've got to let them show who we are. We choose hope over fear. We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. And yeah, we choose truth over lies, constant lies. So folks, it's time to stand up. Take back this democracy. We can do this. We're so much better than we've been. We can be who we are at our best. Not blue states and red states, but the United States of America. So let's take it back. And I promise you, my concluding comment, my dad used to say the only way to deal with power is with power. The only way we can deal with corporate greed in America is union power. That's a fact. You're the only ones to keep the barbarians on the other side of the gate, man. You're the only ones. So, folks, I promise you, the Fair Labor Standards Act passed way back in Roosevelt's day didn't say we're allowed to have unions. It said the government should promote unions. I promise you, I will be the most pro-union president you have ever seen. I guarantee you a seat at the table. God love you all, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get this vote out. May God protect our troops. Thank you.
Be the people, hey now. Got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. Be the people.
I want to do something that I feel very proud about. That son I told you about, who I lost, I want his 2 children to come up here with me. Come here. This is Natalie. Don't be silly. This is Natalie and Hunter. And I want you to meet 2 of my other 4 children. But I want you to meet Come on up, Maze. Maisie, by the way, two-team All-State. And also, this is my oldest, Naomi, named after my deceased daughter. She is just a graduate from law school, and she's going to make a living so I can live in a manner I never became accustomed. But all kidding aside, I want you to meet my grandchildren. They're proud to be here with you. I've been bragging about Pennsylvania. They wanted to come and be with us. So thank you all.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Bring home a winner tomorrow.
I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. We need you.
Thank you.